Good afternoon. We're about ready to do an interview with my good friend, Pastor Joey Vasquez. And like I said last time, did I pronounce that correctly? Before we get started, I just wanted to bring up a few key words and explain a little bit about CrossRoads Freedom Center, just to give us an overview of what we do at CrossRoads. And there's 4 key phrases or words: hope, God, second chance, and freedom. When a guy comes to CrossRoads, he has little or no hope, and that's really where we start. And this always doesn't reflect to, it can reflect the people in the church or just people in life in general. So our first word would be hope. Our second word would be God. And really, after we talk about hope and get them to see there is hope in God, we try to give them a foundation to work from, to have that relationship with God, and let them know that God is real. It seems like some of the guys, even though they've been in church before, don't understand or have that relationship and really realize how real God is or Jesus is, and how available he is. They kind of separate themselves and really have a hard time realizing that God does exist, even though they've been in church. Now, what a second chance. So I'm just going to start. Our first key words is hope, God, second chance, and freedom. Now, second chance is where we let them realize that God has forgiven them, and the slate is clean. You know, they can start. They might have stuff in the past we have to go through or work through, but you know, God has offered you know, he's taken our sins. That's what he died for. And second chance is really where they need to start, because they've been kind of beat up, or they've been in a place in life they just never saw that freedom that God, you know, gives us. And freedom is where we try to help them find, and this doesn't mean just the guys there, anybody that's part of CrossRoads Freedom Center, find out what God has called them to do, or what God made us for, or you know, their gifts that they have, and try to develop that and try to find that through this whole process. And I know that kind of touches a chord also with Pastor Joey and what he does at Deepwater Tabernacles. I want to get a couple things. My interviews with people that God has put me in touch with and put them in my journey. And Pastor Joey is one of those key people that God has used. And I'll be interviewing a few people that, or actually 12, that God has given me a blessing by, you know, getting to know and be part of my journey. I kind of call this clearing the way for God's voice. And it happened in my life, and you know, I think these are just key pieces to freedom, and that I'm going to share with my viewers, so you can see how God touched my life, and also key pieces that would help you in your walk with God to be all you can be. And I know I'm going to just kind of one thing I'm going to get out of the way, that I'm not very good at this, but we do have a book at CrossRoads, Against All Odds, Miracle Journey of Recovery and Success. If you were able to go online, I just say I would do, you know, kind of make a special offer just so you can get that in your hands. I've had a young man, 15 years old, that was just touched tremendously, and there was also a lady that was 95 years old that read the book that was just touched tremendously. We really haven't marketed it yet, but as we go through this process, that's going to be an ongoing process to get it out there, and maybe help. All the funds go to CrossRoads Freedom Center to help to develop the property and the program. So I got that out of the way.